Hello everyone. We are at the Guided Healing. Say hi so we can see you with Ashley Spivak. Hello Ashley.
Hi.
Welcome at the Guided Healing.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, you're a Brooklynite too, right?
I am.
For how many years?
Well, let's see, officially for a little bit over 10, but I'm from Long Island originally, and so I haven't traveled very far. And my dad's from Brooklyn, so
Okay.
kind of in the family for a long time.
We have a native Brooklynite, and we are in Greenpoint at the Guided Healing. And today we are talking about sex and cycles. And this was kind of decided last minute. We had a meeting, we had planned a meeting for a while because talking about sex and health is important. And so we are here with Ashley today to talk exactly about that. Please ask questions. Okay, hello Sha. Shaman. Okay, great. Give thumbs up and ask questions. Thank you. So tell us a little bit about you and who you are and what you're doing.
Sure. So my name is Ashley. I am a birth doula, and I've been working as a health coach for the last decade, and I'm currently in the process of building a digital wellness center for reproductive health and sexual health called Cycles+Sex.
Okay, so it is a digital wellness center that is called Cycles+Sex, and it is information. There will be information,
Yes,
right?
so
Tell us a little more. Yes.
So it's your go-to destination. We're really reinventing how people think about reproductive health care. As you may know, and at least in the States, it's pretty abysmal, particularly around birth and postpartum. And so we are your go-to destination where you can learn, so you can take classes, you can shop, so you can buy products or tools that can be very helpful for you. You can book practitioners, so everything from Western modalities to more complementary alternative modalities to even lawyers that can help you with an obstetric violence case or a sexual assault case or around parental leave policies at work. You can book appointments with them and then connect. So connect with other people as well. We'll have digital support groups. We do in real life events as well. So really your one-stop shop. Great.
So we need places like this. We need places where practitioners are coming together for these services, right?
Yeah.
For example, what occurred to me right now, of course, except energy healing and doulas, how many years are you into this field as a doula?
4.
4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. What are your experiences?
So varied. Oh my goodness. I mean, I have to say it's my mindfulness practice. It's totally altered how I move through the world, and really it just taught me so much. You have to give up control completely. You don't get to decide when it starts, what it's going to look like, what it's going to feel like, how it's going to end. You just kind of have to really give yourself over. And for me personally, my mission has always been around helping people live more embodied. And to me, that means whatever is happening on the inside, you're then able to take an action or speak whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
And so what is more embodied than being pregnant and giving birth?
I don't think anything anything else. Yeah.
Exactly. So that was really how I was I just became fascinated by it and the defense mechanisms in place and how the body works, and blown away by the fact that, it's like over 80% of people that can give birth will get. I knew absolutely nothing about it. We don't talk about it as a culture at all. People are petrified of it. Mm-hmm. The only images or sounds is screaming and yelling at the partner and, water breaking, and 10 minutes later there's a perfect baby, and just not how it is. And we're not preparing people. And in my work in the field in New York City, and being with some of the most privileged people with access and education in the best hospitals, and seeing their informed consent being abused, and getting episiotomies or being cut without permission, or wanting one type of birth, really coming into it and not even knowing the questions to ask to find the people that could even possibly supply that to them. And within doula work, my scope is pretty short. I get to meet people and they're 34 weeks. And so much of this has to happen beforehand, and it doesn't live in isolation. It's connected to your period, it's connected to trauma, it's connected to your entire life of experiences. And
that is exactly what I was thinking about, that there is a lot of trauma around birth. Yeah. There is trauma around giving birth, there's trauma around being born. There is so much trauma, and it's something that should be joyful and enjoyable, and of course there is pain, but it can be better. And the other thing that always was striking to me when I realized that the medical field is really giving us no choice and infantilizing us. It's like, go to your corner, you are going to do what you're told, you have no choice. And you know how many women I met that they were forced to have a cesarean to be cut, and they were forced to receive an epidural. They were forced. And so there is no, it's almost like a regime, it's almost like dictatorship. Yeah. This is what you're going to do, this is what you have to go through. It's so painful.
Yeah, it is.
And so your organization, that is, where is it right now? Tell us a little bit about the stage.
Yeah, where we're at.
Yes.
So we're in the process of fundraising right now, which is in a journey in and of itself. And like I was saying before, I really, labor is such a metaphor for any creative process. And so I'm watching myself contract in order to expand. I'm having to go one contraction at a time, really taking each thing as it comes, and switching courses as a new punch rolls. And I mean, I'm just learning so much, and it's really hard, but also really challenging in a good way. I'm enjoying the process as much as it can be. Really, just like labor, really, really painful and hard sometimes. But I really believe in what we're building. And so at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to, is I know the need is there, and the need is really, really, really there. And so we're going to do it, make it happen.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was thinking. We have to make it happen. We have to have a voice. We have to take our body back. This is it.
Absolutely. This is exactly that. And for us, what's really exciting is we're really pulling in, as you mentioned, the voices of a lot of people doing this work, so that that's what I see a lot too, is people don't even know that midwives exist, right? Like that's even an option. That a midwife is different than a doula, that you don't have to give birth in a hospital, that you can give birth in a birth center, that you can give birth at home. People just don't even know what the options are, particularly when it comes to sexual and reproductive health, because it's been taboo topics for so long, so people don't even know the questions to ask. So it's very exciting for us to be able to say, okay, sure, you can have a GYN, amazing if that's the right choice for you, right? But you can also have an abdominal massage practitioner, an abdominal massage practitioner. You can also have a steam. You can also work with an energy healer. You can also work with a midwife. There's a mental health.
Chinese medicine.
Exactly. It's endless.
Yes.
But people just don't know to think that way. So it's really helping retrain people and help, for those who, right, like this is all goes with having some sort of access and privilege to begin with. But for those who are fortunate enough to be in that place, to be able to say, oh, okay, I have more than one option. There is hope, and let me get a feel for what these options are, to then say, oh, that's the right choice for me.
Right. To know the options, to know the choices, and to make it pleasant, to make that time that you're with your baby and the father of the baby pleasant. Exactly. and really embody, not something that you're scared or afraid of.
Exactly. And again, so it's services for fertility, for birth, for postpartum, for raising your kids, for cycling out and entering into your body, changing all over again. But it really all starts with your period. And so starting with, okay, I don't want to be pregnant right now. What can you learn as a fifth vital sign, right? Like what can you learn from your period, and starting to be embodied in that way, so that it can carry through these other experiences. And you can know ahead of time, my luteal phase is short, something's off, and fix that balance before you start having to go through 3 cycles of IVF, because you just didn't know.
Right, to be really aware with the cycles of the body. And to be really aware with the cycles of the body is something that at Healer Speak we spoke about several times in different ways. We spoke about it in the way of the spiritual, the red tents, the moon dance, understanding your blood. Everything comes from blood, and who doesn't want to understand that or hear that, it's okay, but this is the truth. So we have
how everyone got here.
Exactly. How did we get here? Exactly. So not to be afraid and not to be ashamed, and so our friends here with Ashley in the Cycles of Sex Center and services are putting together the options, the choices. I think this is a great idea.
Thank you.
And before starting our live conversation, thank you. Hello. Before starting our discussion, we talked about actually there was a lot of information shared between us, and top natural ways in which can help sex cycles and fertility. And so in your practitioners, you will have the energy healers, the intuitive people, the people who can find out with exploration and with therapy if there is any obstacle. If there is any obstacle, emotional, physical, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So those are some of the things.
Yeah, and I think that, and drawing the connection too between cycles and sex, because for a lot of people you hear the word reproductive health, and if you're not trying to prevent pregnancy or get pregnant, all of a sudden it's kind of like, oh, that has nothing to do with me, right? You don't think that and we're all cycling all the time hormonally, so we're trying to remind people that, oh yeah, like that actually does involve me, and my sexuality is connected to that. It's actually sexual and reproductive health is the same thing. And it's been very interesting because we'll have conversations with people and maybe we'll just say it's for reproductive health, and they'll be like, oh, well, what about, like, do you talk about sex too? And so it's like people, we've found that we have to go out of our way to say still sexual and reproductive health, even though they're the same, because we've never been taught to think of it that way. Or if we say sexual health, it's just sex or STDs and that's it. Mm-hmm, and no one's thinking about, wait, my hormones, my cycle, birth, like, then the rest of it gets left behind. So it's been really interesting in talking to people and realizing how far we still have to go in shifting the conversation.
Right, yes, there is so much into it.
Yeah.
There is so much into it. There is a part of us that wants to hear, the tantra and the fun and everything. But all of that depends into your hormonal cycle and how you feel. And it's also the partner, the men also are affected. Yeah. They're very affected. If you're in a committed relationship and you don't understand a little bit about your woman's cycles, then you're in the dark, basically. So totally. It's very important, right? Yeah. The same way some of them, right, want to be there when their woman gives birth, the same way you're close and around in her cycle.
Yeah, totally. And it's information too, in the same way that, and this is something that I didn't learn until 5 years ago, which is mind-blowing to me, is, the cervix changes throughout the cycle. And right. Therefore,
Yes.
Turn it off.
Yes.
The cervix changes throughout the cycle, and so sometimes some sex positions with penetration can feel different, and you may not like it, and it may not be because you don't like it. It may literally just be because your cervix is pointed more forward at this turn of the cycle.
Right, it's a different the thickness and the yeah.
Exactly, and right. So that's good for partners to know and understand too.
Right, the walls of the utero are changing with our cycle, right?
Yeah,
thinner,
the wall,
thickness.
Yeah, and the cervix too. It literally gets thicker, it gets longer, then it gets shorter. Sometimes it's open, sometimes it's closed. Sometimes it's tilted forward more, sometimes it's tilted back more, and that matters. So if it's tilted forward, for example, and it's a deeper penetration, then it may be uncomfortable. You may not like the tip. I mean, whether it's through a toy or a penis, or you may not like the feeling of something brushing against it, whereas if it's higher up you may not feel it at all, and so it may be more pleasant. So it's just interesting to think about too, physiologically, how, oh my goodness, like these are really it makes a difference. It's there's
right. Thank you so much for all this information.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, we learn a lot, and there's so much to learn always. Share with the world, what is it that you would like to share? What, one advice or, any
I just, whatever practice it is for you, to just keep checking in with yourself. There's just nothing more important. You know, that's the hardest part, is like, what is true for you? Is this right? Is this wrong? But the body never fails, you know, like your mind can tell you all these different things, but at the end of the day, like, your body is going to be the one with a lot of rich information. So let's start paying attention.
Right. Let's start
learning. We have to relearn it.
Right. And paying attention. And it's beautiful because technology can help. Like, if you have this information and you're following your cycle and you keep a journal, you're present, you know what you want. It's holistic.
Yeah.
It's being in touch with your soul, being in touch with your body. I know what I want. How can I plan it? Who are the right practitioners to help me? Movement, body, embodiment. Not just like going there completely disconnected and, you know, waiting for things to come from outside.
Yeah.
You know, what the doctor is going to say, all these chemicals and all this stuff. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much
for having me.
Coming today. Ashley and I are going to work together in sessions. On my side is more about, you know, the spiritual and the emotional side, you know, if there's any obstacles. And so there's also definitely ancestral healing and ancestral earth-based practices that can help open that channel, because it's all about the earth, it's all about the feminine, right? So thank you for watching us. We hope to see you soon, right? Yes. Please like the page, Cycles and Sex, right?
Yeah. You can follow us. We have our Instagram is really where we use as our main platform right now, which is also Cycles and Sex, or cyclesandsex.com.
Yes. Follow cyclesandsex.com. Follow Healer Speak. This live video will be also posted on our new YouTube channel, which I'm sharing with you today. I'm super excited. Thank you, everyone. Please post your questions, and we will see you soon. Bye.
Bye.